Alright, Shalom, Akim Shalom. I'm going to start by giving infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last sects of time. Kwam Yashala, Shalom. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Consider the Business of the Lord Mandatory. Consider the business of the Lord mandatory. Lord willing, this message is edifying. And I was just meditating on ultimately how the truth, this ministry, our Father's business is our number one priority, ultimately leading to prophecy. But this is our number one top occupation. Although we do occupy other offices to get our daily bread, whatever it may be in this world, but our main priority, our main concern is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding given to us by whom the world calls Jesus Christ ignorantly and whom the world calls God ignorantly, whose Hebrew names are Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right? So consider the Lord's business or the business of the Lord mandatory. This is Matthew 6:33. Red letters Yahweh Shai speaking, but seek ye first the kingdom of our power, God, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So ultimately, we may fulfill other duties in the society. For instance, you may drive trucks. All right, you may have a business of your own, whatever it may be. But what's the power that you call upon? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. What are the requirements that he has given you for a standard in the ministry? That's ultimately mandatory. That's not to be compromised. All right, we can't do away with those things that are ultimately set before us for us to achieve or either fall by the wayside. And it starts with ultimately this. I'm going to read it again, Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of our power and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Because the Lord knows what we essentially need in this society. But what is our heart towards? What is our mind towards? The Hebrew word for heart is la'ab, which means your mind. What is your mind towards? All right. So it says, verse 34, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. That's right. So you have to keep in your mind first, what does the Lord say to do? What are the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? Have them in mind and try to live up to them to the best of your ability. You're going to fall short. The scriptures tell you that a just man falleth 7 times but get it up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So it's going to be a phase of trial and error, but how are you going to get back up again? You're going to get back up in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're going to get back up and go to the world. That's why you have to consider the Lord's business mandatory, because if you prioritize and put the Lord's business first, everything else is going to flow. But if you do the opposite and you put the world first and you put the ministry, the truth, this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, your own growth in righteousness last on the back burner, you're going to get the opposite effect. You're going to destroy yourself, right? And a lot of people don't have that recipe in mind in the world. They tend to put the worldly things first and then put the truth, the Lord, on the back burner, the Lord business of the Lord on the back burner. All right. But the key is to put the ministry first, put your brothers first, put the truth first, put the Lord's business first. All right. And that's faith. All right. Without seeing, you believe in. Right. Because the flesh will say, well, why are you putting these group of men first? You have other things to worry about, bills and responsibilities. But the truth tells you, you don't neglect those bills and responsibilities. The scriptures tell you, render unto Caesar what is his. You don't neglect those bills and responsibilities. You live up to them. But the scriptures tells us this. This is Matthew 6:21. Red letters again, Yahweh Shai speaking. I'll start at 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. I'll start at 19. Salakia. Matthew 6:19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth. Right? Because the scriptures tell you the earth and the works therein shall be burnt up. So essentially, if you chasing after things or putting the world first, you're putting certain things first that are going to be burnt up, that are temporary. that are not eternal. So you're really disrespecting the Lord, right? So it says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. And don't let your mindset be like that either. Don't have a mindset that doth corrupt, all right? And where moth and rust corrupt it, man, all right? Don't have a mindset of this world, basically, roughly paraphrasing, all right? Have that eternal mindset that's going to last and it's going to outweigh the carnal factors that are set in front of us, right? And that's going to allow you to put the Lord's business first. Be occupied in prophecy, like the scriptures say, and the meditation thereof. And I want to get this precept. This is Luke 2. And I'll start at verse 43. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. That's right. So they were looking for him, all right? They sought him out, okay? And when they found him, the scriptures are going to illustrate, when his mother and his father found him, his earthly mother and father, according to Galatians, whom sent for Yahushua, born of a woman, that's right, from the seed of a man, all right, a natural birth, okay, as any other king upon the earth would have, right? And when he is found, finally, watch what he's going to be found doing, right? So consider the business of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua mandatory. First and foremost, Yahushua illustrated it. Luke 2 and 44. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinfolk and acquaintances. So they were looking for Yahushua. Verse 45. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. So they turned back to look for him, because they couldn't find him amongst their kinfolks and the acquaintances. But when they did find him, let's see. So it says, and it came to pass after 3 days, you see, man, this is beautiful, because after 3 days he was risen, okay? After 3 days, the Lord overcame death, man. 1 Corinthians 15, O death, where is thy sting? This corruptible must put on incorruptible. It happened to Yahushua first, all right? He used that prototype, Colossians 1 and around the 15th verse, all right? Who's the image of the invisible power, right? So it says, verse 46, and it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou dealt with us? Like, where have you been? We've been looking for you. Why'd you do this to us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Question mark. Yahushua speaking. Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business? And they understood not the saying what he spake unto them. That's right, because as it tells you in Daniel 12 and 10, all right, many shall be purified and white, and the wise shall understand, but the wicked shall not understand. All right. So ultimately, Yahushua, he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So those that are of that likeness, the hopeful elect, they're going to consider the business of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua mandatory. Not the world. The world is just going to consider this as a foolish thing, right? But not the men of the Lord. So let's get that word business off the online etymology. It says business, care, anxiety, occupation, careful, anxious, busy. It says, let's go back to it. Careful, anxious, busy, occupied, diligent. It says the original sense is obsolete, as is the Middle English sense of state of being occupied or engaged. And that's what the scriptures ultimately promote us to do, to be occupied and engaged, right? It says the latter replaced by business. It says at leisure, without business, unemployed. It says the sense of a person's work, occupation, that which one does for a livelihood. It says with the sense, occupation, state of employment, and that's ultimately our job. The occupation is prophecy. This is Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. You see? Be occupied in prophecies. Meaning what? After the testimony of Yahweh Shai, whom the world really calls Jesus Christ, according to Revelation 19:10, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So that's what we should be occupied in. The business of the Lord is mandatory, man. All right? You don't put the business of the Lord on the back burner for other things. That sounds crazy, right? Why would you, instead of seeking and searching after gold, you would go after something that has no breath in it? And that's likened on to going after your own mind, vain opinion, philosophies, dogmas, idols, women, job, career. And the scriptures are not saying to put those things away and not take care of your affairs, but the scriptures are saying have a balance and put what matters the most first and set your priorities aright. So Lord willing, this message was edifying. I'm going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harachak, Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners. Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom.